Hey, what's going on, guys and girls? This is Jeremy Reeves, and in the next couple minutes, I'm going to show you the top 5 campaigns that you can implement into your e-commerce business to increase your email marketing results by anywhere from roughly 20 to 100%. It kind of depends on what you have already going on in your business. Now, before I get into this, instead of some big, huge, lengthy, boring intro about myself, really all that you need to know to watch this video is that number one, I specialize in building automated marketing funnels. And number two, I figured out these things by creating roughly 40 to 50 million dollars in additional revenue for the clients that I work with in several dozen different industries. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to focus on 5 new profit centers that you can add to your e-commerce business today by maximizing your email marketing campaigns. So let's actually just jump right in, right? So the first one is setting up a limited time foot in the door offer to non-buyers. Okay, so basically, a foot in the door offer, something that takes it takes people who haven't bought yet, gives them, puts a foot in the door, just something easy for them to do business with you, right? So the first step of this is you have to re-engage the non-buyers. So you have all these people that you should be building an email list, right? So you have all these prospects that haven't done business with you. So you're thinking in your head, okay, what do I have to do to get these people to buy my products? Buy at least one of my products and become a customer, because the moment they cross that threshold to become a customer, that's when the whole game changes. So we come up with these foot in the door offers for our clients. And the first step is re-engaging the non-buyers, figuring out exactly what they want and why they haven't bought. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to do this with surveys and all kinds of different things to figure this stuff out. But that's the first thing, is just re-engaging them, figuring out what they want. Number two is coming up with what we call a mafia offer, okay? This is the actual offer that you're going to give them, right? It's something that is, it's easy for you to give to them. It's a very, very easy way for them to do business with you for the first time. And then once they do business with you, the third step is to maximize profit. So you take them from being a one-time buyer, and maybe you get them in the door. Maybe you don't make a ton of profit on that first sale, but you have them as a customer. And what I said before, or, again, I'm mentioning that when they're a customer, the whole game changes. People who if you look through your stats, you'll find that there's a huge difference in revenue, even from one-time buyers versus if they buy twice, they're probably more likely to buy 3, 4, 5, 10 times. So the third step is maximizing profit, and you get them, you do this by getting them to buy a second time. And usually what happens is the mafia offer, you don't make a ton of profit. That's really just to generate that new customer. And then step number 3, the maximizing profit, that's to actually bring in profit. So one of the strategies that I use with some people, it depends on the business, but you bring them in even at a break even price on the first the first sale, and then the second sale is something that doesn't cost you anything, so it bumps up your margin right away. All right, so that is strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is reactivating old customers. Okay, so there's really 3 steps to reactivating old customers, and number 1 is that you categorize them based on the time frame. So if you look through your metrics and your stats and everything that you have, you'll find that you have customers who've done business with you in the past. And then if you also look at that, and maybe you have to break this down by category. Again, it depends on what type of e-commerce business you have. If you break it down, you'll find that people typically buy in certain timelines, right? So they might purchase from you once every month, or maybe it's once every 2 weeks, or once every 3 months, or once a year. Again, it depends on your business. But in every business, there's an average timeline in which somebody typically buys from you. Well, if someone falls out of that time frame, so for example, if your average customer typically buys once every 3 months from you, and it gets to be 5 months and they haven't purchased from you, then they would fall into this. You would want to reactivate them, have them become a customer again, and then you kind of segment them off the list, and you find out, number 2 is you strategize different ways to reactivate them. Okay, so this is basically just brainstorming, coming up with a unique offer for them to re-engage with you, to do business with you again. And again, there's a lot of different ways to do this with surveys and things like that, talking to your customers, calling old customers, things like that. And there's also a lot of ways to get in touch with them. You can get in touch, again, through phone, through direct mail, email, retargeting. I mean, there's a million different ways. But the process of this is, number one, categorizing those people, segmenting them out. Number two, figuring out how to get them back. And again, there's a whole kind of sub list right in that. And then step number three is creating a perfect offer to get them re-engaged. All right, so that is basically strategy number two that we use with our clients. Number three is segmentation, okay? This one's really exciting, and it's something that a lot of people just do not do with their email marketing. You know, you might have a prospect list and a buyer's list, and that's probably the extent of it, okay? But there are a whole bunch of different ways that you can segment your audience. So, for example, interests, right? You can segment people based on their interests. So let's just say that you have a survival website. You sell, gear on selling survival gear. You can probably segment people based on, if it's a man or a woman, based on, what type of gear they like. Maybe they like, knives, or, things like to go out in the wilderness, things to build like a fire, things like that. So there's different segments that you have in your audience. So you just do, bucket 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, however many would be relevant for your business. And you send them emails based on those specific interests. Now, I did this with one client. He was actually a personal trainer client, so not an e-commerce store, but he's a personal trainer client. I segmented him, and it was 3 buckets. So he had 3 different types of people coming to him. After we implemented the new email campaign, his results from his email marketing campaign went up by 270%. So the strategy in this is just incredibly powerful. This one by itself can typically boost your email marketing results by at least 15% up to about 100 or so. Now, the next thing is behavior, and you can actually click people based on their behavior that they do on your website. So you can do it through emails that they open or click, pages that they visit, funnel completion. So, for example, shopping cart abandonment sequences. That's an easy one to implement, and it's especially for e-commerce stores. You already have an ordering process, so if people are going through that ordering process and they don't finish, well, it's an easy way to follow up with people and kind of recapture those sales that you otherwise would have lost. And a lot of people, they kind of stop at sending emails, and there's a lot more that you can do with that. And it's things that we do with our clients. Things like calling people, God forbid, and things like retargeting, and there's a million different things. Again, all of these can go into about 100 different sub levels. All right. So the third thing with this is you can actually segment them based on the buying cycle that they're in. So in the buying cycle, there's basically 3 different things. There's problem awareness, research phase, and decision phase. Okay. So problem awareness is they just came to a conclusion that they have a problem, and that problem is whatever that you sell, right? So again, if it's just coming back to let's just say it's it's a survivalist kind of guy, right? So he has a problem of let's just say that he wants to he needs stuff to learn how to can food, right? Because he wants to can his own food because he realized that if something ever happened, he doesn't have food and he wants to can his own food. So that's the kind of phase number 1 of problem awareness, is when he just comes to that conclusion. Number 2 is the research phase. So they're researching, they want information, right? This is where things like comparison charts and PDFs kind of showing the difference in your products, why they're better than your competitors, and what makes you guys stand out, and that kind of thing. That helps in this phase. And the third phase is the decision phase, and that's where they're in the decision. They say, okay, I know that I need this product. Now it's just a matter of who do I get it from, and that's where you come in and you show them why you're different and why they should buy from you. Okay. Now, key strategy number 4 is targeting hyper-responsive buyers. And basically, there are 2 ways to do this. Okay. Number 1 is through advertising. And number 2 is through buyer behavior again. So a lot of what we do, actually, you look at buyer behavior, what people are actually doing, because it gives you a lot of tremendous insights into what they're like. It's almost like you're a fortune teller. You can say, okay, well, if they did this, they're probably going to do this next, right? So if you're maximizing hyper buyers through advertising, one of the ways that you can do that is through 80/20 results tracking. And basically what you're doing is you look at your business and you say, okay, where are we're doing all this advertising, we're doing all this marketing campaign, we're doing all these different things, we're attracting all these types of different people, we're selling all these different types of products. Where's the 20-80 or 80-20 in all of that? Which products are making us 80% of the profit with 20% of the work, right? Which advertising channels are making us an 80% of our overall ROI with 20% of the ad spend? Which types of customers are buying from us, and you're going to find 80-20s, or roughly it might be 85-15 or 75-25, whatever, but it's going to be close to 80-20, and you'll find that in all these different areas. So what you do is that's your kind of hyper buyers, and you pull them out. That's how you find them. And then you do things like you retarget them. You send retargeting message only to your hyper buyers. Maybe people that visited a certain page. So for example, shopping cart abandonment. That's actually a kind of a segment of maximizing your hyper buyers. And then so there's again, a million different ways that you can do this. Another way is through direct mail. So most people, and maybe you're guilty of this too, you do well online, but there's still tons of holes in your funnel. And one of the ways that you can kind of fill those holes is by sending your buyers direct mail. Another way that you can do that is consultative phone calls. This is something that almost nobody does, and it's crazy not to do this, because it's absolutely just newfound revenue that wasn't there before, and it's brilliant how much it works. You just have to do it the right way. There's a very big difference between calling somebody just to pitch them something and calling someone, being consultative with them, showing them that you care, and then offering something that actually is going to add value to the life. Okay, and this works differently in all different businesses, but it's absolutely beautiful when it does. The next way you can do this is through buyer behavior. So you can segment out multi-buyers, and sell them different things. You can sell them, higher priced packages, higher priced, maybe you bundle a couple of your products together. So you can figure out, where your multi-buyers are, what they want to buy, maybe what they're going to buy next. See if they would be interested in buying bundled packages or something like that. And then you sell them through things like online upsell chains, offline direct mail, like in the first thing, and you create high-end offers for them, right? And that's basically what how you do that with hyper buyers. Again, you're finding the people that are spending the most money with you. So like I said earlier, if you look, you're going to find, if you look at your stats and you really do some quantitative research on this, you're going to find that there is a huge difference in the value of a person, value of a customer who buys from you one time versus 2 times. Okay, there's a big threshold that they cross, becoming going from prospect to first-time customer, and then there's an even bigger threshold when they go from the first-time customer to second-time customer. Those are your hyper buyers, because those are the ones that you can start building. You can start creating raving fans, okay? And you can start selling them higher-end things because they've shown that they trust you and they're open to hearing your message. All right, and that's what this is all about. Then the 5 one is mini launches for new products, right? So you have an e-commerce store. You're probably coming out with new products pretty regularly. So what you can do is you can do little mini launches every time that you come out with a product. So rather than just throwing it in your store and nobody even knows that it's there, you set up systems so that every time you have a new product that you put out, and this is different. If you have an e-commerce store and you have 50,000 SKUs, this probably isn't going to work. But if you have something where you're coming out with a product every week or every month or every couple weeks or whatever it is, if it's a little bit smaller in quantity of what you sell, this is perfect, right? So the first step is basically you plant the seed. So you send your list an email, generating curiosity and excitement for the new launch. So you kind of give them a little bit of teaser about what you're going to be launching. Step two is salting the wound. So you send an email probing the main pain point and offering a solution with your content. So this is basically where you're revealing what it is, and you're saying, hey, if you're dealing with this is going to help you, or sometimes, it's not anything where you're really solving a problem, but it's more of like a fun thing, or something like that. If you're selling, like toy guns, or if you're selling, even like gun ammunition, right? Or you're just selling guns, right? Maybe you come out with some new assault rifles coming out. So you're not really, this one you just switch, and instead of salting the wound, It's more of you're getting them really exciting. You do a video showing all the different features and that kind of thing. And then the third step is you do a buyer pre-launch. So you set up, and this again, this helps your buyers become raving fans and go from a single time buyer to a multi-buyer. You do a buyer only pre-launch, right? So this is you, when you're coming out with this big new exciting project or product rather, you send it just to buyers and you tell them, look, you're a buyer, you're a customer of ours, you get access to this first. So if we run out, you get access first. And you want to make it so that they feel special. That's the big thing here. You want them to feel special. All right. So you create an email sequence, and it doesn't have to be just email. It could be email, direct mail, voicemail, text. There's again, retargeting to kind of hit them on Facebook and follow them around the web, that kind of thing. But you create a sequence launching it to your own list with a special offer only for them. And if you don't want to do discounts or anything like that, which I agree with, then again, you just set this up so that it's exclusive to buyers only. All right. And then step number 4 is you do a full launch. So after that buyer pre-launch is over, you do a full launch to your entire network, which includes all your social media, your prospect list, your buyers list, basically everybody that you can possibly think of. And that's pretty much it. And what you can do with these, which is awesome, is that you can kind of sequence this whole, or you can kind of put this into a whole system, so that it doesn't take you a long time. Because if you're coming out with something every week, obviously it's going to take a lot of time and effort to put all these little mini launches together. So you just kind of systematize the process. And then you kind of just fill in the blanks every time, and you can get them out really, really quickly. And then again, if you're coming out with something every week, then you just send it to certain segments, not your whole list. All right, so that covers basically the 5 new profit centers that I promised about 15 minutes ago or so. So the question is, how in God's name do you actually figure out how to implement everything that I just talked about? Right? Because all the ideas are great. They all work. They're all newfound revenue. They all add additional revenue. So that's awesome. But the problem is, how do you actually implement them in your business? And the answer is actually pretty simple. So the first option is figuring out how to do it all yourself. You can figure out the specific software you need. You can try to dig through your analytics to figure out which of these is the lowest hanging fruit, right? You can try to figure out how to position and craft your offer. You can figure out what to say in your emails. You can figure out the best way to get in touch with your audience, how many times to follow up with them, and all of those 1,000 other details to get the best results possible. Or I can just do it for you for free. Now, I realize that probably sounds a little bit too good to be true, right? And it's not, I promise you. So let me explain why I'm doing this, right? So I'm currently accepting 3 new clients into a service that I have where I basically speak to you to find somewhere between 1 to 3 of these improvements that I just talked about. And there's actually a lot more. These are just 5 of the ones that we typically use. We talk on the phone. We come up with between 1 to 3 of these campaigns to run. And then I do all the work for you, get them all implemented for you, and I only get paid based on the actual revenue that I produce for you. That means if what we do doesn't work, if we do one of these campaigns and it doesn't work for you, I literally make nothing, $0. But if it does, you still keep the majority of the profits, and I just get a smaller percentage of that. So you keep the lion's share, I get a minority share of the profits, and that's pretty much how it works, right? So here is the quote-unquote catch. Now, I'm taking all of the risk here, because if this doesn't work, I put in all this time and effort, and it makes no money, so I get nothing, literally. So because of that, I'm only looking for certain types of businesses to do this with, right? There's 2 criteria that I kind of have to be able to talk to you about this. And criteria number 1 is that you should already be an established business making at least a minimum of $250,000 a year in yearly revenue, but preferably it's higher than that. Usually it's at least $500,000 or so, but 250 is at least a minimum, right? And number 2 is that you should be actively building your email list and have at least 10,000 people on your list. And that doesn't matter if it's prospects, buyers, or both, right? It could be a mixture of them. And it's also preferable that you're in regular communication with your list, but it's not necessarily required. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So if you meet those criteria and would like to chat a little more about this, talk to me on the phone. We'll kind of figure out a strategy for you. And even, we'll still figure out the strategy, even if we just want to get on the phone and then run it by yourself. That's totally fine. I know that most of the people that talk to me just have me do it. So either way is totally fine. But if that's you, if you meet the criteria and you're interested in this, there's a little link below this video. Just click that link, and that's going to take you to a page with a few questions about your business so that I can check it out to see, if I'd be interested in taking on the project. Because again, this is very risky for me. You get like most of the, you get almost all the benefit. All the risk is on my shoulders. So I want to make sure that before before we get on the phone and we talk, I want to make sure that it's something that, number one, I'm interested in, and number two, I know I can get your results. Okay, so remember, this is totally risk-free for you. We're going to be working on new campaigns, so it's not going to hurt anything that you're currently doing. Plus, it will be a totally new campaign introducing a new revenue center into your business, one that's not there now. Okay, so this is all new revenue. And I only get paid based on the actual results and revenue that I produce for you. Okay, so if you qualify for the two criteria, again, number one is you're already making at least $250,000 a year, and number two is you have an email list of a minimum of 10,000 people. Then click the button or link below this video. You're going to go to a page that has an application. Just fill out that application page, and then we'll schedule a time to chat on the phone about this. To see what we can do for your business. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Even if you just take these and you run with them yourself, that's perfectly fine if you don't want somebody else to do it for you. I know a lot of people would rather just somebody else just do it for them because it's just 1,000 times easier. But if you want to take these and do it for yourself, that's great. Enjoy it. Enjoy that new revenue, and take a vacation after you do it. And let me know how it was, because I would love to know your results. And yeah, that's it. So I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's kind of given you some new ideas. And thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you soon.